start this recording again because I don't want to miss any of that. All right, so we're back up recording. Okay. Maggie is still on. Great. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So let's give it about three minutes, Stephen,
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, making sure everybody, we sent the link to with your Elephant Haven people will be on. Do you think they're all on?
Yes, we have. Yes, the two
Okay.
co-founders are on, Deborah Stevens
Okay.
and Boago Poloko.
Okay.
So Sally, if you could try to find them right there, that way. Oh, good.
There they
Okay.
are.
They popped up at the very beginning, so we can do some spotlighting of them as well. Okay, maybe I can do that here. So just hang on. I am gonna mute myself.
They are spotlighted right now, Mark.
I changed iPad's name to B. We call him B. His name is Boago Poloko. He's one of the co-founders, and then Deborah Stevens, as I mentioned, is also one of our co-founders. She lives in Dallas, Texas.
Sorry, I had a hard time getting on this morning.
Well, that's okay. You're here. That's all that
I'm
matters.
here.
And it looks like we have an excited group here.
I think Zoom has a mind of its own sometimes.
It does for me, at least.
Yes,
Yeah, it's good to see everybody.
this is exciting.
It's great seeing Patricia.
Yes, Patricia's in recovery still, and she's getting stronger every day.
That's great.
Hi. Hi, B. Nice to see you.
Hi, Patricia. Good to see you as well.
Well, I'm just curious, for those of you that actually seen an African elephant face to face, how many of you have seen an African elephant face to face? Raise your hand. Some of you, yeah, just about. Okay, a few of you. Well, you're going to see one today, several actually, but not face to face, but virtually you will, and you're going to get up close and personal with them. So as soon as Mark gives us the go, we can get started. The plan today is basically going to be that I'll share with you a few slides to give you just a little bit of a background and just a real short history of how Elephant Havens came to be. And then I'm going to turn it over to Deborah, who's going to say just a few words about how she got involved and the vision that she and B and the third co-founder, Scott Jackson, came up with and how this came about. And then we're going to just turn it over to B, and we're going to be in B's careful hands. He's going to show us very briefly some of the facility, and then we're going to meet all of the babies, and Father Mark is going to bless each of the babies. And then we got a couple of surprises that you don't know about, which we hope you'll hang in there long enough for. And then at the tail end, there's one more surprise at the tail end, and Deborah and B and I will hang on for a few minutes afterwards, but for those of you that need to leave, feel free to do so. But sometimes we hang out just to talk about the experience for those of you that want to do that, but by no means is it an obligation.
Stephen,
Sometimes
do you want to remind people not to record the surprise?
Yeah, we'll do that when we get to that point. Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Right.
Yeah, Mark, who's controlling the recording, Mark? Is it you or somebody else?
I have full control.
All right, as it should be, right?
I'm in major control mode this morning. All
All right, Mark, there'll be one short segment of about 5 or 10 minutes that we're going to ask you to pause the recording if you don't mind for security reasons.
No problem, no problem. So Stephen, because I can literally not wait anymore, let's get started, because it's been the highlight of my week looking forward to this. So we are ready.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to start with just a few minutes. For those of you that I've not met, my name is Stephen Giannatti. I'm the other half of Patricia Giannatti, who I think you all know, and I've been involved with Elephant Havens for a while now. And I'm going to share with you just a few background slides. So I'm going to do a quick screen share here. And where is it? There it is. So can you see this? I just want to make sure that you can see the word Dumela.
We can.
Okay. So the first word in the language that's the national language in Botswana is called Dumela, and that's how we say good morning or good afternoon or good evening. So this will be your first step so that you're ready to go when you do visit Botswana, and hopefully that will be something on some of your bucket lists. So Dumela to all of you. The mission of Elephant Havens is to protect and preserve the African elephant. Pretty straightforward. They do that through three specific ways. They rescue and hand rear the young baby elephants. They do extensive community outreach, which all of you are familiar with at Christ Church. And also they do habitat protection. This all began several years ago with a baby elephant called Naledi. I'm going to share with you a short video, which really helps us understand part of this story. It's a very important part.
Hello to everybody. It's a happy day in Botswana when a baby elephant named Naledi is born in captivity. But when her mother suddenly dies, the story changes.
This little girl has been through such a tragic experience.
Now her survival depends on the kindness of strangers.
If she doesn't build a relationship with us, we'll lose her. What they need is love.
So Naledi is this was Naledi on her first birthday, which was a year after that video was shot, and then this was her. This is her now, and so the story of Naledi is really important because if you'll notice the logo in the top upper right hand corner, there's a little star, and that star is the name of that star is Naledi. That's the word in Setswanan for star. So that's part of the genesis of the Elephant Havens logo. So where are we going today? I'm assuming most of you know where Botswana is, but it's way over here. And it's about 8,000 miles away. It sits on top of South Africa, and it's the recipient of huge water flooding from Angola, which is very important every year. And it's called the Akkavango Delta. And Elephant Havens is located at the tail end of the Akkavango Delta. It's a vast and varied ecosystem created by the annual flooding every year, which is critically important because as you can see, when there is no rain, it's not very good. But when there is rain, the elephants and all of the animals and human beings have sufficient waters. Elephant Havens has a modest campus of 30 acres. They have 20 plus one employees, and you'll meet that plus one employee today. They have 11 bomas or rooms. They're definitely integrated into the local communities, and we'll be glad to share with you a lot of information about that. And then we have 800 acres that was donated by the local community because they believe so much in the mission of Elephant Havens. Today, we're going to feature Mamotsi, who is the matriarch of the family. She's not the oldest, but she is the smartest. And Bea will tell you more about her in a few minutes. These are the co-founders, two of whom are on the call today. And this is part of the staff. And you can see we have two female elephant handlers, so we're trailblazing in that area as well. And now I'm going to turn it over to Deborah, who's a visionary, a passionate African elephant protector, and just an all-around wonderful and amazing human being. Take it away, Deborah.
Thank you, Stephen. And thank you all for being here today. It's so exciting to be able to share this with you and share our babies and our mission. Whoops. I think Bea's talking.
I'm gonna mute him. I'll mute him.
Okay. We met Naledi, the elephant that Stephen mentioned, when she was only 4 months old. She was at a camp in Botswana called Abu Camp that had a semi-wild herd of elephants, and Bea, our co-founder, was the manager of the people that cared for those elephants. And unfortunately, when Naledi was born, her mother died from complications from childbirth, and none of the other elephants in the herd could care for her. So Bea and the men decided to, Naledi would not take a bottle while she was with the other elephants. So they decided to remove her from the herd to try and get her to take a bottle. She was just about to expire at the time. And I met her then. And one of her mothers that week when I was visiting said if I kept coming back, she'd never forget. She was 4 months old then. She's 8 years old now. And to this day, they take me out where she's grazing and I call her name like I've always called her. And within a minute, you hear bushes crashing, you hear trumpeting. She comes running full force to the vehicle where I'm waiting for her. She grabs my hand with her trunk, as she did when she was little, and puts it in her mouth and sucks my fingers. They do not forget you. They do not forget when you love them. And Bea shared with my husband and I several years ago that his goal has always been to have an elephant orphanage where these little babies can be cared for when they lose their herd, when they lose their mothers. And there's many different ways they can do that. And my husband looked at me and said, well, you know, Debbie, if anybody can do it, you can. So we came home from that trip to Africa and formed a 501c3 nonprofit, and we started the process. It took B an entire year of going to the capital of Botswana, convincing the government that this was a way that we could not only save elephants, but help the community and involve the community in saving wildlife. So it's been the greatest honor of my life. I'm so grateful that B asked us to help, because it has honestly changed my life. I personally believe any time spent with an elephant is never time wasted. And we've been able to help the community in so many ways, and it's been so meaningful. So with that, I'm gonna let B show you around, because I think you're here to meet our babies, not necessarily talk to me. So with that, B, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Debbie. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, everyone, for being with us this morning. What a quick way to travel to Botswana. So I'm quickly going to show you our magic room and our lab, and then we'll go straight to the babies. Just going to turn my camera around. There you go. So first, I'm just going to quickly show you this. So what we have right here, these are 2 shipping containers. And like Deborah says, it took me a year to convince the government of Botswana to let us operate the elephant orphanage on the outskirts of Maun. And, you know, we couldn't spend any donors' money for the entire year of 2018. The only thing that we had here was the beautiful piece of land with big trees and the electric fence around it. And, but immediately when we got the approval, which was on the 18th of December 2018, we then started building. So right in here, this is our magic room, or as we call it, but this is actually the elephant kitchen, where we prepare the milk for our baby elephants. We have a stove right here with all the milk powder in here and other ingredients that we add into the milk. A very special formula for our baby elephants, which is called Leptomil, and we can only get it in Egypt or in France. We can't get it anywhere in Southern Africa. It's lactose free because elephants are lactose intolerant. That's why we give them that milk. And then we have 4 ready bottles to go. And you guys, you get to see those babies drinking. And then we have this whiteboard here. Because we stay with the babies 24/7, we don't get to leave them, not even a minute or 2 minutes. Even if you have to go to the bathroom, you make sure that you leave someone with them. Because of all the stress and the trauma the babies come with, if you leave them alone, they'll feel rejected. And 2 minutes later, after you come back from the bathroom, the baby may give up and die. So we stay with them 24/7. So we have 2 shifts, the day shift and the night shift. So this board communicates with those shifts. So anything that we change in their milk formula, we write it on the board so that everyone gets to know what is happening with their milk. Right, and then I'm going to quickly move over to that side. Quickly, right here, we have our laundry. And then right here, this is Mamotse's very favorite room. And you'll notice this is the only room that is locked. And the reason why we keep it locked all the time is because Mamotse has learned how to open the door. So we make sure it's locked all the times. And the reason why she loves this room is because of all the candies that we keep in here. Apples, oranges, some game pellets right here. So if the window is open, Mamotse will stick it through to try and reach for either for a bag of oranges or to reach into the pellets container. It used to actually sit there, but now I've moved it to the other corner because she would stick into the window. So this is our medicine feed store where we keep all the medication, as you see, all the way through to this side. And of course, the food. That's why Mamotse loves this room. So when these babies first arrive at Elephant Havens, or when we immediately pick them up, because of the stress they go through after losing their mothers, they then develop ulcers in their intestines. So immediately when we pick them up, we put them on ulcer medication, which it's supposed to be 28 days. But because every case is different, some stay on the medication for a longer period, some for a short period. All right, so that's our medicine feed store. So I'm going to lock it because Mamotsi is going to be here anytime soon. And then right next door, this is our lab. It's also a very special room for us. Initially used to be our temporary office, but because of the Dallas Zoo, because of their generosity, they made a donation towards Elephant Havens and our babies by donating this lab. All the equipments in the lab, all the furnitures, and they also sent 2 of their lab technicians to fly all the way from Dallas to Botswana to come and set it up and train 2 of our elephant handlers to be lab technicians. So before we had the lab, it used to be very difficult for us and our babies, because when the babies arrive, we'd have to take blood samples, urine and fecal samples, and we would have to send them all the way into town, which would take about a week to 2 weeks. And by the time we have the results, it's too late. But since we've had the lab, when the babies arrive, we take samples, and within 30 minutes to an hour, we have the answers, which helps us on what to add into their milk or what kind of medication to put them in. So this has been a game changer for us. So we're very honored that we work with the Dallas Zoo. Okay, so now we're going to see our first babies, the 2 surprises for today. This is where we would ask you guys not to take any pictures or to record, mainly for security reasons.
Mark, did you get that? You can stop, just pause the recording for about, we'll tell you when you can resume it, okay?
So we have
very
11 enclosures.
So
Sorry,
are you